dog's leg, but make enough, and you came out smelling like roses on the other side. He, unfortunately, was not quite there yet. "Is the jet ready to go?" Getz asked, his anger tempering. The breathing had helped, but the answer he got had his blood boiling once again. "I'm afraid the jet's a no-go, sir," the guard replied as Getz's face began to flush red. "What?" "They know about your jet, sir. It's too much of a risk, but we've made alternative plans." As Getz waited for these alternative plans to be explained, he found himself sitting in total silence, apart from the roar of the BMW's engine. "Well, Davies, you prick, are you going to explain them or not?" Davies was used to the man's temper, and given the circumstances he wasn't surprised, so he calmly turned back once again. "We've secured another plane at a local airstrip. It'll be a bumpy takeoff, but it will get us over to France, and from there you'll transfer to a jet. It's all arranged." The details appeared to calm Getz once more, and as the nervous twitching in his shoulders began to subside, the financier settled back into his seat. Once airborne, he could go anywhere. There were immutable dangers that went side by side in his chosen profession, but with the money he made, finding a safe house and country was not one of them. "Good. Then get me in the air." Davies offered a respectful grunt, and he gripped the dashboard hard as the BMW jerked to one side, just missing a teenager riding a green mountain bike who forcefully thrust his middle finger in the air at them as the car sped by. Getz glanced back at the ill-mannered teenager, and his lips curled downwards in disdain. Even though he'd been happy to be based out of Bristol for some years, it had often crossed his mind to make a move to greener pastures. Bristol wasn't London, or New York, and he was happy to be leaving, although he had never envisaged it happening under such undesirable circumstances. His company had offices in most of the main Western capitals, but after this debacle, he would have to relocate further afield until the authorities could be handled. "What's our ETA to the airport?" "It's an airfield, and we're only 7 minutes out," Davies replied, his response serving to ease Getz's nerves further, so much so that he smiled smugly. "UK police," he sneered, letting out an arrogant snort. "Useless bastards." He had barely finished his insult when the entire back of the BMW was lit up in a barrage of red and blue flashing lights, and Getz looked back to see 2 BMW 335 police cars zip past the Porsche Cayenne and fall in right behind him. Shit! As he turned, his eyes widened as he caught sight of Davies, who was already pulling out a semi-automatic short-stock Bushmaster Parabellum from his footwell. "Jesus, put that away! No guns!" Davies looked surprised. Getz wasn't known to be bashful at the sight of blood, especially that of the police. He lowered the weapon back to the floor and picked up a walkie-talkie while he watched Getz duck down from the back window, fearing any police cameras. "Strike Team 2. No engagement. Keep your firearms shadowed." "Acknowledged. Orders," came the crackled reply from the Porsche 2 cars back. "Do it the old-fashioned way," was all Davies had to say as the Cayenne now pulled out and sped closer until it was parallel with the police car on the right, and then slammed into it, using the bull bar as the tip. The aim was perfect, the force crumpling the front passenger side door inwards, and in turn sending the car lurching to the left and into the other police car. Their tyres connected, ripping the corner panel into pieces, and with one heavier shunt, both police cars screeched through the barrier and down a grass embankment, spinning out of control as the BMW continued to accelerate, followed closely by the Porsche SUV. The timing had been flawless, and although the police car's passengers would have a few cuts and bruises, there would be no fatalities, just as Getz wanted. And therein lay the problem. Getz was getting soft, perhaps too soft. Davies eyed his would-be employer as Getz fidgeted nervously, staring back at the 2 police cars tangled up against one another.